What happened if you broke a bone 10,000 years ago. Imagine this. You're hunting deer with your tribe. The chase has gone perfectly. The animal is exhausted. Victory is seconds away. Then your foot lands on a loose rock. Crack. A sharp pain shoots through your leg. You collapse into the dirt. Today, a broken bone usually means a trip to the hospital, an x-ray, and a few weeks in a cast. But 10,000 years ago, no hospitals, no ambulances. No painkillers, no surgeons. So what happened if you broke a bone in the Stone Age? Would it be a death sentence? Or did ancient humans have surprising ways to survive injuries that seem impossible without modern medicine? The answer reveals something extraordinary about our ancestors. And it might change how you think about prehistoric life forever. The first problem, survival 10,000 years ago, humans lived in a dangerous world. Most people survived by hunting, gathering, fishing, and traveling long distances on foot. Your body was your most important tool. If your leg broke, you couldn't hunt, you couldn't gather food. You couldn't easily move with the group. And if your tribe needed to migrate, you became a serious challenge. At first glance, this sounds like a disaster. Many people assume injured individuals were simply abandoned. But archaeological evidence tells a very different story. Again and again, researchers have discovered ancient skeletons with severe fractures that healed completely. Some individuals survived years, sometimes decades, after devastating injuries. That means someone helped them, someone carried them, someone fed them, someone protected them. In other words, prehistoric humans were far more compassionate than many people imagine. How bad was a broken bone? Not all fractures are equal. A small crack in a finger might heal naturally. A broken arm could be painful but survivable. A fractured rib could heal with rest. But a shattered femur, the large bone in your thigh, was a completely different story. The femur is the strongest bone in the human body. Breaking it requires enormous force. Even today, serious femur fractures are medical emergencies. Without treatment, complications can be deadly. For prehistoric humans, this was one of the worst injuries imaginable. Yet surprisingly, archaeologists have found healed femur fractures in ancient skeletons. This means some people survived injuries that should have left them helpless for months. The only explanation is social support. Their communities took care of them. Did Stone Age people know medicine? Not in the modern sense. They didn't understand bacteria. They didn't know about X-rays. They had no scientific knowledge of bone cells. But they did have something powerful: observation. Humans have always been excellent at learning from experience. Over thousands of generations, people noticed patterns. A broken limb healed better when it stayed still. Moving it too much made things worse. Supporting it with sticks reduced pain, rest improved recovery. This may seem obvious now. But these observations formed the foundation of primitive medicine. Many experts believe early humans created simple splints using branches, bark, leather straps, animal sinew, or woven plant fibers. These basic devices could keep bones relatively stable while healing. Were they perfect? Not even close. But they were often good enough. The hidden advantage of ancient bones. Here's something surprising. Ancient humans were incredibly fit. Their bones were generally denser and stronger than those of many modern people. Daily life involved constant physical activity: walking, running, climbing, carrying, digging, hunting. This lifestyle strengthened muscles and skeletal structures from childhood. A healthier musculoskeletal system can improve recovery after injuries. Their bodies were adapted to physical stress in ways that many modern humans are not. Of course, they still suffered fractures. But when healing conditions were favorable, the human body could perform remarkable repairs. Because that's exactly what bones are designed to do. The real killer was infection. The fracture itself wasn't always the greatest threat. Infection was. If a broken bone pierced the skin, bacteria could enter the wound. Today, antibiotics help control these infections. 10,000 years ago, there were no antibiotics. A serious infection could spread rapidly, fever would follow, the body would weaken. Eventually, death could occur. This is why open fractures were especially dangerous. Some researchers believe ancient people used medicinal plants with antibacterial properties. Various traditional cultures throughout history have used herbs, tree resins, and natural substances to treat wounds. While these remedies weren't nearly as effective as modern medicine, some may have helped reduce infection risk. Nature provided more medicine than many people realize. What about pain? Now imagine the pain. No ibuprofen, no morphine, no anesthesia. Just a broken bone, the agony could be overwhelming. Ancient humans likely relied on several strategies. Rest was essential. Certain plants may have offered mild, pain-relieving effects. But perhaps most importantly, humans evolved strong social bonds. Emotional support can significantly affect how pain is experienced. Being surrounded by family and tribe members may have helped people endure injuries that would otherwise feel unbearable. The human brain is powerful. And community has always been one of humanity's greatest survival tools. Evidence hidden in ancient skeletons. How do we know any of this? Because bones remember. When a fracture heals, it leaves visible changes. Archaeologists can examine ancient skeletons and identify injuries that occurred thousands of years ago. Sometimes they find fractures that healed perfectly. Sometimes they find bones that healed in strange positions. And sometimes they discover astonishing cases. Individuals who survived multiple fractures. People who lived with disabilities for years. Humans who received long-term care despite severe injuries. One famous idea among anthropologists is that evidence of caring. For injured individuals may represent one of the earliest signs of civilization itself, not buildings, not tools, not weapons, compassion. The decision to help someone who cannot help themselves. That is something uniquely human. If you were lucky, let's say you broke your arm, the fracture remained closed, no infection developed, your tribe supported you, food was available. You rested for several weeks. In that situation, survival was very possible. Your bone might heal slightly crooked, you might lose some strength. You might experience pain for years afterward, but you could live. Many prehistoric people almost certainly did. In fact, some probably returned to hunting and daily activities after recovery. Their lives continued, scarred perhaps, but not ended. If you were unlucky, now imagine a different scenario. A shattered leg, heavy bleeding, an exposed fracture, winter approaching, limited food. No ability to move. In that case, the odds dropped dramatically. Nature could be unforgiving. Even with help from others, some injuries were simply too severe. Prehistoric life was harsh. There is no romantic way to describe it. Many people died young. Many injuries proved fatal. Yet the remarkable fact is not that people died. The remarkable fact is how many survived. What this reveals about humanity. When most people picture prehistoric humans, they imagine brutal survival, constant violence, endless struggle. The strongest surviving while the weak disappear. But the archaeological evidence tells a richer story. Humans survived not only because they were strong. They survived because they cooperated. A broken bone 10,000 years ago could absolutely be deadly. But it wasn't automatically a death sentence. Again and again, ancient skeletons reveal a simple truth. People cared for one another. They shared food. They protected the injured. They waited for the wounded to heal. And because of that compassion, countless lives were saved. The next time you see a cast, an X-ray, or a hospital, remember this. Long before modern medicine existed, humans were already practicing one of the most important forms of healing, taking care of each other. And that may be the reason our species survived at all.